Katie. I'm one of the Ellie and Mac capsule designers, and recently I kind of accidentally made a princess dresses capsule for my daughter as she was potty training. She needed a prize that wasn't food related, so this is what we came up with. She's pretty Disney princess obsessed right now. But I wanted to talk to you about how I did some of the embellishments on a few of these dresses. So on Snow White, I did some sleeve details. On Rapunzel, I have the ribbon crisscross detail. And on Anna, I have some of that Scandinavian design detail as well. And I did all three of these dresses by using HTV, or heat transfer vinyl. And what heat transfer vinyl is a type of vinyl that you can iron on to fabric. So this is just a scrap that I had left over from my Snow White dress, and I use a Cricut machine. You can use a Silhouette, you can use a Cameo, you can cut this with scissors by hand if you really want to, which is what I did for my Snow White sleeves. I did just cut this by hand, and the Rapunzel strips on the front of the Rapunzel dress, because I didn't feel like running it through my machine just for some rectangles or for some marquee shapes. But I did use my machine to cut all the detailed pieces for Anna. So heat transfer vinyl has a shiny side, which is a plastic coating that will get peeled off, and then the dull side is the side that goes against the fabric, and that's when your iron is on it, will activate and adhere to the fabric. So one of the tips that I have with this is to make sure that your iron is hot, very hot. I keep it on the highest setting for this, and that you press down really hard for whatever the time that your vinyl, your specific brand of vinyl suggests. So what I did for Rapunzel was I just took this light purple vinyl that I had, and I cut strips about 3/4 of an inch wide to do these. And then I actually ironed it onto the pink fabric as it was cut as a pattern piece before I sewed the bodice together. And it's not a problem for my machine to go over it. Your machine will go through it fine. It doesn't gum up your needle or anything. It's not sticky once it's cooled. So it worked out fine. And you can see that my daughter plays in these a lot. There's like syrup on them and stuff, but you can see as it starts to come off. My husband's not the best about not putting things in the dryer. Ideally, anything with HTV shouldn't go in the dryer because heat will reactivate it, loosens it up, it makes it not adhere as well. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll take this dress and I'll just flip it inside out and give that bodice a good press with an iron again, just to kind of readhere where some of these spots are that are coming off. For Snow White, I just cut 3 little marquee shapes out of the red HTV, and I actually, again, just used scissors. I made my middle one a little bigger than the 2 side ones, and then I put each of those down on my sleeve. I think I did these ones before I sewed the sleeve on as well, so that it was easier, it was flat, it was easier to press down on with the iron, and then peeled off that plastic coating and it was ready to sew. And for the Anna one, this one actually took a lot more work because of all the different pieces and colors. And you can kind of see on here how it's starting to split a little bit just because of how much she wears these and how, she's 3, she's pretty rough on them. She stretches them a lot, getting them on and off herself. So the vinyl can crack. It's not gonna hurt it. It just doesn't look quite as nice as it did when I first put it on there, but it'll stay on, and I every once in a while will re-iron these. I'll flip them inside out and iron it again. Just make sure when you do that with things like if there's vinyl on both sides of the skirt, if I would flip this skirt inside out, I would want to make sure that I don't have vinyl against vinyl, because then it can stick to itself when it's really hot with that iron. So just make sure for the skirt on this one, I wouldn't flip it inside out. I would just put a pressing cloth over it and then press it like that. You can find heat transfer vinyl. I get it sometimes at Joann's. You can find it at Michael's. If your AC Moore's going out of business, they might even have some on sale if you're lucky. I've bought it from Amazon. You can get it, there are different vinyl online shops that you can get it from as well. But if you're not real into the heat transfer vinyl, or you don't have a cutting machine, or you don't want to have to cut by hand, you could also do, I've seen people talk about doing embroidery with this. If you have an embroidery machine, that would be really pretty. You could do fabric paint, you could do fabric markers. I don't know how well fabric markers would show up on black, but you could use fabric markers or paint. For the Rapunzel ones, you could even do just regular ribbon across here, and just stitch it down with one long stitch along each edge of that ribbon, or even just through the middle. It would almost give it a ruffled look. You could use fabric applique or hand embroidery. So for the Snow White sleeves, you could totally just cut out these shapes out of fabric and then stitch around the edge, either with a zigzag stitch on your machine or by hand, and do some applique. That would be really cute as well. But there are a lot of different ideas that you can use to embellish the dresses and make them look more like the princess that you want them to look like. And like I said, my name is Katie. I really had a lot of fun making these princess dresses for my daughter. I'm really excited to see what your creations look like. And if you have any questions or want some help with something, or want to know how I mashed two of the patterns together, please just let me know. That's Katie with a Y. And you can find me in the Facebook group. Thanks. Have fun.